welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Jenny from the block, and if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you're returning, welcome back. So before we jump into today's video, I just want to remind you to please remember to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dr. Jenny from the block. Turn on the notification bells so you can be alerted when I'm dropping these gems. Okay, so now that we got that out the way, let's jump into today's topic. I really wanted to talk briefly about the association between our mental health and our well-being and resources. And when I'm talking about resources, I'm talking about everything from access to clean air, water, to having financial security, stability, housing stability, job security, health, medical, mental health resources, etc. I think part of the reason why this topic feels very timely for me is that, one, I'm on the internet often. I read the news here and there, and I just listen to people and chat with people on a day-to-day basis. And I've noticed recently that with the rises in cost of living across the country, student loan repayments being unpaused, groceries being ridiculous, it's really hard out here for a lot of people right now. And I know on the internet, we joke, we kiki about it, but it does really have a real impact on our well-being. And so, as I was reflecting, I started thinking about this concept called Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And Maslow was a social scientist and created this hierarchy a really long time ago. And since then, there's been lots of different hierarchies that have emerged that are kind of coming from that same place. But I won't get too deep into history. But the reason why I've been thinking about it is on this needs hierarchy, the bottom two, building blocks of it include physiological needs and safety needs. And I've been thinking a lot about, how we talk about mental health. We talk about mental health often in terms of our brain chemistry and or experiences of trauma, hardships, etc. And I think it's really important to include how our access to or lack of access to resources can also develop into mental health distress. A lot of people are, thinking, and I hope we're moving away from this. I think we are, about you have to be crazy to have mental health issues or your brain is wired different. And that's not it at all. I often have to educate people about the impact of environmental or situational factors that can negatively impact our well-being. And so, if you're navigating this world right now and you're starting to feel very frustrated, worried, anxious, depressed, angry, I want to first and foremost normalize and validate that, because when we do not have access to critical, essential needs like clean air, clean food, water, or I wouldn't even say clean food, nutritious foods, etc., that impacts our bodies, which impacts our minds. I feel like I'm often in this place where I'm needing to explain to people that there is a connection between our mind and body. Food is fuel. So if you don't have access to nutritious foods, that's going to impact your ability to think, to problem solve. If you notice, when you haven't eaten all day, you're probably really hangry, you're really tired, and disengage from what's going on around you. So imagine folks who food insecurity is their everyday struggle. It's going to be really hard for these folks to actualize into, who they want to be, to thrive, to work on their goals and dreams, because you're trying to figure out where the next meal is coming from, and your body is suffering from lack of nourishment. And so I give that example because I think part of this video is to help people start to think about, what do you have access to? What don't you have access to? What do you need so that you can be more than just barely making it? But I think another part of this is to help us increase empathy for each other and understanding that so many things are related or can impact our mental health. And that includes our ability to access the things that we need. So I hope folks can start to see that there is a relationship between access or lack of access to resources and mental health and well-being. Having resources, especially those foundational ones that meet our physiological needs, that fit our safety needs, they're really, really important and crucial that we get those needs met, because going for long periods of time without those needs getting met can result in a lot of distress and can lead us down different paths that we otherwise wouldn't have gone down if we would have had support. And that leads me to my next point, which is help seeking. I want to first acknowledge that there can be a lot of stigma and shame around having to ask for help. But I do think it's important that we check in with ourselves to really think about, are there any vital resources that we're missing? And if so, what are the next steps that we need to take to get those needs met? When you sit back and you think in that way, that's you engaging in self-care. That is you wanting to do more than just survive and to do what you can to help yourself get to a point of thriving or get to a point of well-being that's different from where you are currently. And I also want to say to those of us who may have resources or access to resources, when people are reaching out, please remember to be kind and empathetic. Asking for help is so difficult for many reasons for people. And I think it's so vulnerable of them to put themselves out there, put their stories out there to get the support that they need. So I share all this so that we remember to be mindful of the different experiences that people have, to be thoughtful in how we interact with others, and to really understand that a lot of these things can be out of people's control. Cost of living is not in our control. I did not wake up and say, hey, I want cost of living to go up. The inflation with groceries was not a thing that many of us individuals in the day-to-day world, we did not make that choice for, foods to go up dollars in some cases. So keep this all in mind. I hope that this is at least, planting some seed or can get some conversations going amongst folks. Remember to utilize resources, seek out resources. Those of us who have access, remember to give them freely, support people, and lift as we climb. So with that being said, that's all I have for today. Let me know what you think. What are some things that I didn't cover that you want to share or discuss more about? Other than that, I appreciate you all for the time, for listening to me, checking me out. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and follow me on Instagram at Dr. Jenny from the Block. Okay, take care of yourselves. Bye. How much I miss